The government has outlined various reforms in the tea subsector in a bid to ensure more money to farmers and, of course, ensure there is a proper management of tea subsector in this country. One of the targeted institutions for reforms is the Kenya Tea Development Agency. There is a new team in office that has hit the ground running to ensure farmers get better returns and as well as improve the management of tea subsector in this country. Joining us on Inside Government this week is the chairman of KTDA Holdings, Mr. David Ichoho. Our conversation will revolve around reforming the tea subsector. What is the role of KTDA and what is the challenge ahead, and of course how they plan to overcome such obstacles. Thank you very much indeed for finding time to be with us here on Inside Government. What would you say has been your biggest achievement yet?
We have come with a reform team. Our objective was actually to help the farmer be able to recover this sector, which has gone down in terms of hope, in terms of aspiration. And it's a big sector. We serve a larger constituency of about 650,000 farmers and the larger ecosystem of about 7 million people relying on the crop. So when we came to office, there was a hopelessness because farmers had lost hope. There's this complaint and hue and cry because of the lower returns from the crop. So when we come to office, our work was well cut out. Among the issues was that to bring more returns to farmers. So ideally first we went to organizational structure, leadership change, to ensure that we effect the change that we needed and also ensure that those people who are not able to respond to farmers' needs are put aside, able to focus for going forward. Ideally we have done a governance, which is already continuing. We have put some officers in office who are acting or some have been appointed substantively. We are moving together as a management. We have initiated the change management that we need within the organization so that they can be focused on the farmer. Among the issues that we have already started doing is actually trying to look for more money in terms of incomes, and we have fixed the auction. The auction is where the tea has been sold. By the time we were coming in office, the tea was selling about $1.83 per kilogram, which allowed 200 shillings. Now it has come up to 3.1. Averagely, the last two auctions is 350 shillings per kilo of green leaf, of milk tea. Yes.
I know there is a forensic audit that is currently ongoing, and there is a probe that is currently underway, initiated by the government. So when you came to the office, how bad was the situation on the ground at KTDA?
Ideally, one of the problems was lack of vision and clarity and lack of proper policy in terms of helping the farmer. There was lack of concern actually in terms of ensuring that that the management and the board is responsive to the farmers' needs and their client. So ideally there are issues that need to be done forensic. So ideally when we came to office first is to ensure that we took over the management and where the board had left the previous board. Ideally we need to do the audit, so that's why we have called in an auditors to do us for the 5 months, about 5 years. And they will be in office in the month of December and January. So we expect to get a full report because the aspect of mismanagement, misappropriation, and of course the lack of value for the goods bought for the farmers.
How are the books of KTDA?
The book, as for now, is okay. I think when we came, we were able to assess and take over the books of account the way they are. But ideally, we want to go back in terms of looking where we came from. The institution has not been very stable in terms of financial positions. So we are actually looking in terms of the various factories because they also have their respective account. And once the forensic audit is done, we'll be able to know all the problems which are there. And then from there, we'll be able to fix through the boards, factory level, and even at us, and we'll be able to announce to the public there so that they can be able to know where we went wrong and be able to fix going forward.
I mean, there was a push and pull, between the old management and the new management. Is there now clean running or smooth running of affairs of KTDA as we speak?
Yeah, we have already taken over effectively. We can't say the organization is in the hand of farmers and directors who are elected by the farmers. So going forward, we are moving in that direction. Of course, those are a team that we left before us. Of course, they are still insisting they were in office. Some have gone to courts, and the courts are already being heard in various courts. And we expect that the farmer is going to be the winner. once we are done with the court process.
I know there are a number of cases that are pending before various courts here in Kenya with regards to the new board's mandates and, of course, their stay in office. How have these cases impeded on the delivery of services to the farmers?
Ideally, that would only be the handle that we are having, actually, those court cases. Ideally, there are a lot of interest and interest groups and cartels behind those court cases. Some are officers that we already exited from our organization, so they will be having grievances. Of course, as we know that, as the president previously mentioned, this was an institution which was being freezed by cartels. They will not just live like just like that. They still have to throw in before they throw the towel. So ideally we will push through, because the farmers, we are talking with the right information, the right issues, we will be able to win the case.
I know when you came into the office sometimes in June, you suspended about, was it 6 or 7 officers of the previous management. I know the former CEO has already resigned from office. What is the fate of the others? Because they were supposed to step aside for 3 months to allow investigations.
Ideally, we have managing those cases, and some of them have been called by management to appear before the boards. Those cases are being reviewed based on the officers' actions. We are also reviewing other reports to ensure that some have opted to exit the organization, and they are giving a free way so that we can be able to take over the organization and continue. You're
talking about improving farmers' earnings from $1.83 to about $2.4. $3.4. In a span of about 6 months.
Yes.
But one thing that farmers have never clearly understood is you're talking about 350 shillings, a kilo. But what gets to farmers is how much?
Of course, we have not done, for now we have not done the competition. So this money will be paid next year in bonus. But the idea, we always pay 21 shillings to the farmer line now. I would like to also inform you that there is a conversion rate of tea. 4 kilograms of dry tea come from, for 1 kilogram of dry tea comes from 4 kilograms of green leaf. The conversion is 1:4. So ideally, when you talk about 350, those that will translate to 350 for 4 kilograms.
And that is also a number that farmers have contested for many years, saying that that conversion rate, is not proper. Is this something that you're also looking into as a team? Yeah,
that's an area that when you go to a factory, you realize there's a challenge, because the outset is never measured. We only weigh the green leaves, but the tea which comes at the end is never metrically meant. So some of the things we want to do is to look for those machinery, whereby we can be able to know accurate conversion rates. We suspect there could be some loss in the process due to man-made or any otherwise.
Who gets what in the value chain?
Ideally, what happened is that out of what we sold, actually, there's what we call payment in terms of management fee, the aspect of logistics, and also payment to ensure that we pay the green leaves and other logistics. Ideally, when that is done, the balance is able
the management fee is supposed to be 0.5%?
Is currently 2.5. It's going to be brought down to 1.5.
To 1.5.
Yeah. So then when you go to a factory level, there are a lot of costs which is done through administration, and manufacturing, energy, and the aspect of leaf collection, packaging, insurance, and other. So ideally, after we're done with all the costs, then we will convert the money is taken back to the farmers. The factories are able to take up and then have the other financial responsibility, and the balance is paid off. That's why the payment is never the same to the factories. Factories are different levels.
If proper management was to be put in place, both at KTDA and at the factory level, in an ideal situation, how much do you believe farmers would be able to take home?
Indeed, I don't know to compute it how much, but previously people have been paid as much as 70 shillings previously. So we are looking to a situation where we can be able to increase to higher than where we have been before. So ideally, this is what we are focused. We are thinking in terms of we can be able to get our tea buying from $4. Then we'll be able to be home and dry in terms of ensuring there is sustainable money going back to the farmers. The other aspect is also lowering the cost of production, so that once the wastage are run out, and also enhancing the efficiency in terms of ensuring that we lower the cost in the process of our logistics. Yes.
I also understand that one of your deliverables is ensuring that farmers are paid for their deliveries, within 2 weeks. How do you plan to achieve this?
What we have done, and we have tried to do it this month, we want to say once the farmers deliver their tea, by the 5th day of the next month, we are able to pay them. We have done it for this month, and actually the month of November. We just paid, I think, 2.58 billion to the farmers for the month of November, which was paid by around 6th. So that is going to be the norm now. We ensure that we put our system in order to ensure that we have timely payment. Instead of paying the third week, we will be paying the first week every month.
The first week of every month?
Yes.
What was happening before? Why were there delays in paying them on time?
I think we can say it's just the system which has been put in place, and I can say that because I'm tend to relax. But ideally now we have boards which are want to be efficient, timely manner, so that we can also serve our farmers. Let's
also talk about improving production in this country, and we know that because of poor pay, many farmers had decided to boycott tea farmings in this country. What do you plan to do to encourage production of tea in most counties? Yes, for us to be able to increase the income, we want to increase the production, that being one of the aspects. And ideally, we were able to bring in fertilizer. I think around 1.6 million bags of fertilizer has been distributed to the farmers. One of the other things was lowering the cost of the fertilizer, where we were able to ask for the government to give us a subsidy, and they gave us 1 billion. So we were able to lower the cost from 3,100 to 2,500 to the farmers. That one has gone to the farms and been distributed. So expect that when the farmer put the fertilizer to the farms, they are going to increase their production. Other than that, we are also looking, emphasizing on aspect of quality tea. So because we have gone out to the market there and they are looking for high quality tea, and now that's one of the objectives that we are pushing on to the farmers. Once we are able to get high quality, we will be able to fetch good prices in the world market. Yes. Where are you sourcing your fertilizer from? Fertilizer actually produced by some of these big companies in Europe. And of course, like now we have started the other cycle. I think the fertilizer was brought by 2 companies. One is Iala and another Europa. I think they were not even able to bring, we needed 85,000 metric tons. And they were only able to bring 65 metric tons. And that's why, because of the various COVID issues which were there in the market, the COVID aspect, which was affecting the distribution of the market of fertilizer in the world. But we were able to look for fertilizer within. So we have distributed 310,000 bags of fertilizer. 310,000 bags of fertilizer to the farmers, ideally to supplement what was available, was already imported. Yes. There were accusations of corruption and kickbacks, in the procurement of fertilizer before. How have you managed to open up the system to transparency and to proper audit? Importation is done. We have not even done any importation ourselves. Ideally, what we have done, we just gotten what was done by previous board. So when we come, we had to look at the obligation to the contracts. And when we realized the fertilizer was high in terms of costing, we were able to ask for the subsidy. For us, we will be transparent. I think we will be doing an advert this Thursday, which will be going there to the international market and the local market for them to do the biddings. And we'll be able to transparently be able to go through the process. When you look at the prices of fertilizer that you are getting from the 2 suppliers, benchmarked against the prevailing market prices, do you believe farmers are getting value for their money? Ideally, the current prices in the market is very exorbitant. Now the price of a bag of fertilizer is going up as much as 5,000. But ideally, when you look at the survey of the international market, the fertilizer prices have gone up. And we're hopeful that this COVID issue will be able to go down because there are a lot of demand for fertilizer across the globe. So we hope that we'll be able to get better prices as we go on. They are concerned because there are shortage across the globe, the fertilizer market. But we are optimistic that as we order the next lot, which will be coming June next year,
the price will have stabilized and we'll be able to get farmers fertilizer which is affordable to the farmers. That's one of the major inputs to the farming. And of course, because of we buy in the foreign exchange, they cost us a lot of money in terms of, so we hope to be able to get the best cost price there in the market.
The other day you reduced the interest rate charged on loans to farmers to 8%.
Yes.
How has this been received by farmers in the market?
One of the greatest, and when we came to office, we realized that farmers are being exploited also by financial institutions. They were being given interest which were very exorbitant, and we realized farmers have a lot of great debts. So ideally we had to do something to ensure that we salvage the farmers from the huge debt, which goes into 3, 4, 5 years of their produce. So ideally they bring down of interest from 21 to 8% is supposed to save the farmers to ensure that they, one, we reduce their debt to sustainable level, two, to increase their capacity to be able to even access more funds. And we are looking for a long-term solution, a sustainable way framework for the farmers to be able to get resources. The farmers are very happy and they are excited, and if you talk to them, they will tell you. We are trying to bring a lot of financial literacy on the same to ensure that farmers, when they take loan, they take a productive loans, which can help them also engage in productivity and other incomes, so that they can also empower their families.
When you look at the other 4 entities of KTDA, how are they financially and management-wise?
Yeah, we have several subsidiaries. Among them, we have KTDA Foundation. Ideally, KTDA Foundation have been involved in assisting communities, especially in education, the poor and the communities. We are thinking on how we can add more responsibility to a strategy called diversification to assist farmers in terms of financial literacy. So ideally they are doing well. Of course, they are not financially there to generate income. They are supposed to support, become a support service. We have child trading. Child trading is involved of ensuring that they are in charge of logistics. Of our teas, they are picked from the factories level at efficient time, taken to the Mombasa and then shipped to various destinations. So it's a critical component, and it has been very stable financially going forward. They have been also assisting us in ensuring the leverage on trade to ensure that our teas are also bought and distributed across the globe. We have Majani Insurance. Ideally, we do a lot of insurance work and ensuring our facilities, our activities, and that requires so the Majani insurance brokers have been bring some income back to the holdings. So that's one of their role. Then the other one we have Ketepa. Ketepa is involved of branding and packaging of tea and distributing within the country, and some they export across the countries. So that's a critical role that they are playing. But we also want to look in terms of policy, what value they are adding to ensure that we increase our sales outside there in the market. But ideally, the principle of subsidiarity is to ensure that you lower the cost for the farmers. Yes.
Talk about Greenfield Feather. I mean, what is its current loan status and vis-a-vis liabilities?
Yeah, I think Greenfield Feather was one institution which was started with good objectives, with a good vision. Ideally, it was started to provide farmers with low access credit. But ideally, they have not achieved that. That's why we are trying to retool it and give a policy direction to be able to help the farmers. They were giving at around 21%. They have a market share of about that percent. That's about 225,000 farmers. So ideally, the other 70% are still with other financial institutions. And I think the problem was that they were also borrowing money from other banks that are very hard to be able to be sustainable interest rates. So ideally, that should be our strategic institution in terms of ensuring that we leverage the issues of income for the farmers. And that's why we are given now, we have brought it down to that 8%. Now maybe we'll be having about 3.5 billion available to be provided to farmers. We are talking with financial institutions and other institution to be able to access affordable credit, so that we can be able to give the money to the farmers at a very affordable rate. And I believe that's the only way we can be able to end poverty amongst our farmers and empower them sustainably.
Very well. Then what becomes of farmers who had borrowed money on the old terms, and now you are offering loans at a rate of 8%.
Ideally, the policy was that all the farmers who are in Greenfield, by the first date of December this month, were converting automatically from respective 21% to 8%. Those are the farmers who are already with us. All the existing loans converted to 8%, and all the new loans are big picture now at 8%. Ideally, we'll have a challenge for those who are outside other institutions because we have no control of those institutions. And farmers will make their personal decision in terms of whether they want to onboard with us and be able to move together. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So paint to us a picture of how KTDA would look like after all these reforms have been carried out and after management and operations of KTDA have been streamlined.
We would like to ensure that the issue of tea is the only productive crop that we have in the country. It's covering most of our land in the highlands in terms of 80% of our lands. The people who are farming tea is already occupied by tea. We want to have a sustainable kind of farming whereby we can have a balanced kind of acceptable balance between the production and those who are consuming. So we want to have sustainable prices, and we want to ensure that those people who are engaging in farming can be gainfully employed. So we want sustainability. We want to ensure that the issues of farmers are sorted in a timely manner. And we want an efficient institution. It's a big institution which is playing a critical role. We supply about 30% of forex in this country. So ideally we would like to ensure that we sustain our role in the economy, and also we be helpful to the farmers, and also to ensure we end poverty amongst our people through farming.
And of course, you know, you control about 65% of all tea produced in this country, and with more than 700,000 farmers, that's quite a huge market that you control, and you are just coming from an era of division between the old team and the new team. So how do you plan to bring about harmony and build confidence among farmers?
Farmers are coming from a time of turbulence, but I think we are moving now in terms of stability, because the new director and the new leadership shall come does not come with a lot of bondage of former years. And we have learned our lessons as farmers. As the leaders, we have that responsibility to ensure that we create sustainability and stability within the market. That is where we will be focusing on, and I think we will be judged as we continue in the years to come to ensure that the stability is there. We want to provide corporate governance, proper leadership, clear policies, which will be able to define the institution beyond the current leadership. Our shareholders and farmers that we should have hope. I want to tell our marketers and the people who are also consuming our tea that we continue producing high quality tea. We will also ensure that we have sustainable kind of income for the livelihood for the farmers. And we want to end poverty amongst our people. So we look forward to work for them, and they should keep and produce high quality tea as we continue to serve our country. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, David Ichoho is the chairperson of the Kenya Tea Development Agency Holdings, joining us on Inside Government to help us understand how the new board is implementing the government reform agenda at KTDA Holdings. Well, you have been watching Inside Government. Thank you very much for your time. We do this again on Friday next week. Until then, enjoy your afternoon.